Hi. I was literally just thinking about what it feels like to actually lose your child. You know, I have literally had a stillborn, and I had this child. I had my child when I think it was like 24 weeks, 24 weeks pregnant. And I will never forget sort of like that feeling of grief, um, pain, and discomfort. My waters broke, and I literally had the hospital call. The ambulance didn't come the time it was supposed to come, and my friend at the time, we drove to the hospital. She was with me, and we quickly drove to the hospital, and I was admitted into hospital. And I was literally there for nearly a week. My waters broke. They tried to keep the baby, obviously inside me, and then eventually the nurses were like, we have to do this because obviously I can get an infection, the baby can get an infection, etc. So I was like, okay. So they scheduled the appointment or shall I say, to book the emergency cesarean or whatever they were going to do the next day. And the next day, I remember going in downstairs. They had to call me in like downstairs to where the sort of the room is, where they sort of measure the heartbeat and make sure the baby's okay, etc. And I remember going down there, and I remember hearing the doctor say, "There's no heartbeat." It's like, wow. Your heart plummets, and you're just like in that pain. You're just in that pain, and you just don't understand what's happening and why it's happening. And the reason I'm telling this story is I just want everyone to know that there is life after losing a child. And it's hard, it's hard to go through that pain. Anyway, back to my story. So, I remember I had to literally give birth to my dead baby, and that hurt. Having to literally push a dead baby out of you is not an easy thing to do, and when you do it, it's numbing. You want to understand like why this has happened. So I remember the nurses, after the baby was born, they gave the baby straight to me. A little boy gave the baby straight to me, and I held the baby dead. He was named, and I buried him and all the things. Again, I'm telling this story because I just want people to know who are going through that heartbreak that you can have another child. Life can get better. And normally it will, For me, I tried again, and I did have a beautiful son after, who's now 18, and I have a daughter. So there is life after losing a child, but the pain hurts, and everybody's story is different. Everybody's story is different with this. But I just want to bring awareness to the pain that we go through as mothers who have lost children. The mental pressure it puts on us, especially if you've tried for a very long time to have a child, and then you've had a miscarriage, or you've had a stillborn. It hurts. And you did have a child. That child is fully living within you, and it's a human being, and you did have that child, and all your emotions are real and they're valid. I had a friend that literally was like, oh, you just had a miscarriage, and she just didn't, it was just like, it didn't matter until it happened to her. And I never forget when it did happen to her, she was like, Laura, I'm so sorry, I realise now exactly what you went through. And I was like, it's okay. And I was there for her because I know that pain. And some people just try to, or they don't understand what it feels like to lose something that actually didn't live, you know, whether it be a miscarriage or a stillborn. And the pain we feel is valid. And the steps that we have to take is real. You know, you will need to go counselling. You know, you will need some kind of therapy. You will need your support networks, your good friends, your best friends, your family. You know, you need some time off work. You're going to need to take those stages and feel all of what it feels like to get through that pressure of losing a child. I just wanted to say that, you know, there is life and there is happiness after losing a child, and that child always lives with you. You know, you name that child, you had that child, and all the things that you need to do, whether you name it him, her, you go to the cemetery if you have buried it, him, her, sorry, you know, and just that remembrance, just give your time, you know, even if it's a time of year where you sit down and you spend some time with the spirit of that baby, that's okay, you know. And whatever you need to do, everything eventually works out, you know, and you've got this. You'll be strong, and, you know, you can get through this. And also you can try again and keep trying, you know, and everything will get better.